Basic safety tips, how to safely introduce a new horse, part 3. So now that you have your horses kind of settled in, you've also introduced them to each other, now's the time to turn them loose together in the new environment. And this is the exciting part and what gives a lot of people nervous energy because they're anxious and worried about, are they going to like each other? Is there going to be a kicking match? Is one horse going to drive one into the corner and start pummeling them? Don't worry, I'm going to walk you through how to get them interacting well. So what I'll do is, first of all, make sure that the area that you're introducing your horse is a safe area. So if you're not too sure of your pasture, maybe you can find an arena to do this in, or maybe, anything that's dangerous, get out of the pasture, make sure that there's no, and by dangerous, I'm not talking about the obvious things, but like there's no really bad corners or areas where there's maybe a thicket of trees that, horses could get trapped in. So just really have some forethought and some insight to how we can set them up to be as safe as possible, okay? But then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring the new horse and I'm gonna turn them loose in that pasture, in that arena, if you have a large paddock, whatever the case might be, okay? Then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to start directing all of the horses from the get-go. Usually what people do is they'll introduce a horse and they'll step back and watch it unfold. That's the last thing I want to do. I want to dictate how this goes. And so what I'm going to do is I'll send, let's say it's 2 horses. I'll turn them both out in the pasture and I'm going to grab my steady stick and I'm going to start driving them around me in a circle, because now what's happening is I'm inserting my energy and making them work. And what's going to happen is, as I'm sending them around in a circle, directing them together, as their feet are moving forward, not in a corner, not where they're squealing and kicking, as they're moving forward and taking their cues and leadership from me, they are kind of jockeying for position during that. If you think about like runners, right? When they're going around the track and trying to find positioning, right? They're not duking it out and punching each other because they also have to keep going forward and moving. Same thing with our horses. We're giving them direction, but as they're going forward, they're figuring out, they're communicating with each other. They're kind of shoving and pushing and jockeying for position. And then as we continue to drive them forward, you'll see that on their own, without, broken bones or hurt ponies, they will end up figuring out that kind of pecking order on their own. And once you can see that they have kind of firmly established that pecking order and they're listening and taking their cues from you, you can take the pressure away, breathe them down, let them interact more organically with themselves, and then kind of take your